Yo, this is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Want to give you a quick rundown of what I'm going to be riding today. It's going to be the 2014 Triumph Rocket 3 Roadster. No, this bike is not stock. It's got quite a bit of work done to it, actually. It's got a Carpenter 240 rear wheel horse kit. See the Carpenter Racing engraving right there on the cylinder head. So this bike got camshafts, it got CNC ported head, different pistons, more compression, back cut gear set and transmission. His Carpenter race header that I had ceramic coated black with my own touch of a reverse meg on the end of it. Yeah, the Corbin Beetle bags, hard bags, Triumph backrest, Triumph crash bars. Just a beautiful bike. So this bike's equipped with ABS in 2014. It is the Roadster, not the Classic, so they only changed a little bit. So some paint scheme stuff and foot position actually on the bike. And we're going to go for a little ride here, beat up on my buddy's Harley. No, not really beat up on him. He's not trying to race me. But we are going to go for a little bit of a ride and a little bit of a cruise, and you'll see me putting this old girl through its paces. It's been a while. I haven't ridden this bike very much this year, and that's why I wanted to get a vlog done on it, because the bike is up for sale right now because I'm not using it. I can't get any of my buddies to ride with me that ride Harleys to ride along with me on this bike, so kind of a bummer. Oh, let me get my cell phone out of my pocket. There, put it in my coat pocket. A little uncumbersome. This bike's very well balanced. Okay, so I fell in love with this bike back right in the second motorcycle I purchased. I fell in love with it because of the balance of the bike. It's over 800 pounds, and it does not act like an 800-pound bike. It's changes direction very well for a big bike like it is. It's actually very comfortable. I made it a little less comfortable with the Carpenter race header. I had to push everything out along with the master cylinder and everything to fit it, but that's the price we pay for the horsepower numbers we want. This bike is only a 5-speed, so it's not limited by any means. You know, it feels really good. It's got a gear indicator. It has a fuel gauge, which means the battery went dead on me. I had the battery tender plugged into the damn wrong port all for the last few months, so the battery did go dead. But after it gets through picking up what it's putting down, the fuel gauge will start working again. Hopefully it's filled up. I normally put them way full. So I originally mentioned that this bike could run on 87 octane. Bob Carpenter let me know it would make the most amount of power on 87 octane, but if you are rolling below 3,000 RPMs and roll it on with the bike, I could audibly hear it spark knock and detonate. So this bike started off at just over 9-to-1 compression, and which is actually pretty low, you know, for any, I guess, performance enthused motorcycle. And Carpenter bumped it, I believe, to over 11.5-to-1 compression, almost 12-to-1. So with that type of compression, I feel that needs 93 octane, but it all depends on combustion chamber efficiency, a lot of things that I understand, but by no means am I an engineer. But as soon as I heard it detonate a little bit, I put it on 93 octane because I'm just not messing around with possible, you know, knocking out large end connecting rod bearings and, you know, beating up the tops of the pistons. It's when detonation is happening, it's very violent what's going on inside the engine. So one good thing, if I do move on and get rid of this bike, it depends. You know, I have quite a few viewers, subscribers that are saying, Steve, ride the Rocket, ride the Rocket. I'm like, okay, all right, well, here's my chance, you know, go out and ride it. If I get a lot of chatter about this bike and people wanting to see it more, then I might keep it. Or 2017 or 2018, Triumph is restyling this bike. It's supposed to have more horsepower, rider modes. It's supposed to have a lot going on. Okay, I have just over a half a tank of fuel, so. But yeah, it's got you know, quite a big refresh coming up here from Triumph, which I'm actually really excited to see that. I might consider getting rid of this bike for the refresh and or not replacing it all, because I don't have anybody to really spend any time riding big cruisers like this with me. The bike rides a little bit stiffer than I did stock because I lowered it 1.5 inches via the Icon coilovers in the back. We did a real high quality, nice billet rear shock on this thing, and it was mainly because of my launches. When I would leave real hard in first gear, even when the bike was stock, it was unpredictable. It kind of just was all over the place. But the bike is a beast, that's for sure. Very, very much so a beast. Another roadblock we have with this bike is it's with this engine package, it should rev to 9,000 RPMs. Bury this tachometer, right? Because it'll make peak horsepower and peak torque at 8,300. The Aussies, Toon Boy, I can't say enough bad things about them actually, because of their customer service is an absolute joke. But yeah, they don't help out at all. So the 2014 and newer rockets have a different processor with throttle-by-wire, and they have not cracked it to rev past 7,000 RPM. So this bike isn't even making its peak horsepower and peak torque, and when I grab the next gear, it's way out of its efficiency range because we moved all the RPM numbers up to increase the amount of horsepower that the bike is making with aggressive camshaft profiles. But yeah, they kind of ruined that for me. I'm really bummed out about that, and the bike not making the power it really should right now. It's only making 230 at the tire, 232-ish, 175 foot-pounds of torque. You know, those are good numbers, but they, you know, what I paid for, it really should be better. I'm not blaming Carpenter at all, but I am going to blame Toon Boy. Hopefully Woolwich cracks these ECUs and they do a Woolwich box that we will never have to use Toon Boy for anything ever again. So I'm not going to bother filling up here yet. A little later on I will. I want to give you guys a couple of cracks here. This is 5th gear. Bike is very, very cruisable, rideable, very comfortable. Put your legs up on the highway pegs. Changes direction pretty good for a damn big ass bike, right? Very wide. You know, the bike is massive right through here. The tank is huge. The your leg area and where the bear claw is at, where it grabs air at, is very large. It's something that you just, it's a labor of love. Hopefully this guy gets back in his lane or gets out of my way. Okay, great. But yeah, there's a little bit to be desired when I compare this bike to riding my fiance's Thunderbird Storm 1700. That bike is the epitome of comfortable cruisers, that's for sure, but you're stuck at the horsepower that bike it produces. This bike, when I purchased it, I knew there was a lot of horsepower to be had with it from and available from Carpenter Racing. Give her a little whack right here. It's 3rd gear, we'll go down to 2nd gear. Okay, we're at 42, 4400, feels really good. Bike pulls like a freight train. Absolute freight train. It never stops pulling. That's the torque power that this thing is making. The 175, 176 foot-pounds of torque that's making to the rear tire, that's what really, really tugs its weight, and when it accelerates, it does not feel like an 800-pound bike, along with really good traction out of this 240 section rear tire. I don't want to put my foot down. No! Don't have to put my foot down. Love it. Okay, bike spun a little bit there. Once you get some really good heat in the tire, it might not happen today because it's so cool out, but this bike will wheelie right in first into second gear. You can get some really good fun wheelies on a big ass bike. Don't know whether that'll happen today though. I have a quick shifter equipped on this bike, but it quit working unfortunately. Really made it a lot of fun, and DynoJet was giving me grief about raising the RPM tables on the bike to cover their asses because the bike originally doesn't rev past 6,000 RPMs. Beautiful water outlook here. Nobody swimming or boating. That's because it's pretty damn cold out at about 58 degrees right now. Well, for water weather anyway. Perfect for riding weather in my opinion. Nice new homes being built here. New landscaping. Not bad. Not bad. Hopefully we don't have too many idiot Sunday drivers out here causing us grief. I'll actually get response out of Harley riders. They'll wave back at me on this bike, and I'll be riding one of my Diavels or any of the sport bikes or naked bikes, and you get no response out of a lot of these guys. They get confused for a minute that this bike might be cruiser American until they take another quick look at it to see that it's a far superior European bike. Come on, people. Why are we slowing down? You're just asking for me to get rear-ended here. Not too many people like riding with me. I don't know whether the mic's picking it up, but the bike is noisy. Holy crap, does this thing make a lot of noise with no baffle in it. I didn't want to sacrifice any horsepower, though. Let's see what's going on up here. Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm not that much of a a-hole. I'm not going around all those people. Get rocking and rolling, and all of a sudden somebody's cutting right for some no apparent reason.